Our tale begins with a man plummeting from the sky, his head dripping with syrup. His expression is unreadable. Where am I? Who am I? My head hurts. This man is Yang Nua, a student teacher at a high school in Jingling City. He's especially skilled at handling unruly teenagers. His motto? To manage someone, you must first blend in. Yang Nua does have a few obsessions, particularly reading web novels on Vitamin Train, but he's also quite the curious fellow. While hiking up Kunwa Mountain, he noticed a mysterious, glowing light sparkling on a cliff face. Wanting a closer look, he climbed higher, but lost his footing and fell from a height of over 1,000 meters. Curiosity killed the cat, he thought. Well, it's too late for regrets now, I'm dead for sure. He plummeted into a cave below, convinced his body would be crushed to pieces on impact. And yet, there he was, alive. The scene around him resembled a grand museum, filled with priceless artifacts. The primordial return technique. The demonic dragon bone-forging fist. The ascending water chi condensation method. The imperial scripture of the extreme world. The grand primordial creation scripture. Could it be? Beneath Kunwa Mountain lay the hidden sanctuary of some ancient hermit? Wait, is that the Jade Maiden Heart Sutra? Yang Nuo, with your strong willpower, how can you gaze upon such depravity that taints the soul? Moments later, he was flipping through the pages faster than a seasoned librarian, his expression entirely inhuman with excitement. I have to verify if it's real or fake. But when he tried to pick up the book, it wouldn't budge. I can't lift it. He strained with all his might, clenching his glutes and tightening his legs, but not even a centimeter of movement. He tried several other books, same result. Frustrated and breathless, he collapsed onto the floor. Just then, a single drop of blood trickled from his forehead. The moment it hit the ground, it was instantly absorbed. The floor began to emit a glowing radiance. The very books he couldn't lift a moment ago transformed into brilliant streams of light, surging straight into his head. Each stream of light turned into individual characters, flooding his consciousness. He focused intensely, absorbing every piece of information. When he opened his eyes again, he felt changed, more grounded, more powerful. Suddenly, a mysterious voice echoed in the air. This place, the Langxian Library, has been awakened by your blood. Who's speaking to me? Let me tell you this world is no longer Earth. Nor is it the base of Kunwa Mountain. This is Shinhaitian, the sacred realm of cultivation. This world teemed with mystics and immortals. Countless mighty cultivators walked these lands, so powerful they could sway even imperial rule and reshape dynasties. 10 dominant forces ruled the realm. Among them were 7 great sects: the Qinyuan sect, Blood Dao cult, Fushur Cave, White Tiger Academy, Hidden Sword Pavilion, and others. Alongside them stood the 3 great palaces: Beast Emperor Island, War God Temple, and the Heavenly Secrets Tower. And I'm the head librarian of one of the 3 sacred grounds. I'm the boss now. Just the title alone gave Yang Nua a sense of prestige, and more importantly, a feeling of safety. Soon, I'll have countless disciples at my side. Total protection guaranteed. But just as he was getting carried away with that fantasy, a beam of light descended from above, striking him directly on the head. A surge of mysterious energy burst through his body. His dantian opened, and the essence of heaven and earth began swirling around him like a vast vortex. Yang Nua could feel a cataclysmic transformation within. His body hardened, as if cast from iron and steel. Power flooded his limbs, the strength to move mountains and part the seas. His cultivation soared, drawing from the world's natural force, and in an instant, he reached the Tongxian realm. I cultivate in Shinhaitian now. I stand shoulder to shoulder with the giants, equal to those legendary elders from the 10 great powers, and even those reclusive old monsters. In most stories, the protagonist transmigrates into a feeble body, confused and helpless. Then, a familiar voice guides them as they begin a smooth-sailing cultivation journey. But Yang Nua was different. From the moment he arrived, he was already standing at the top, Realizing his status as head librarian, with free access to all the books, he naturally beelined straight for the Jade Maiden Heart Sutra. Why can't I take this? I'm the head librarian. I command you, give it to me. But nothing happened. His temples throbbed with pain. The voice spoke again, calm yet firm. Though you hold the title of head librarian, you currently lack the authority to access the immortal arts and secret techniques stored here. What? To gain that access, you must fulfill the Langxian Library's mission requirements. Yang Nu recalled rumors. The Langxian Library had been in decline for over 1,000 years. It lacked even a single successor. Many had never even heard of it. So I'm not just a figurehead. He muttered. I need to revive and expand the Langxian Library myself. What a massive responsibility. It all falls on me. The voice continued. Your first mission, recruit disciples. Use the library's sacred artifact to rebuild its foundation and bring in new talent. Only then will you rise to the peak. I was expecting a support system, Yang Nu groaned. I imagined over 10 scholarly elders shielding me while I lived a peaceful, pampered life. My dreams were too lofty. But reality is harsh. Still, he didn't crave domination, nor did he want to live under anyone's control. With his current cultivation, he had the strength to do as he pleased. With a fond, almost cheeky gesture, Yang Nu waved his finger in farewell to the ancient hall and stepped out into the world. The moment he left the Langxian Library, the immortal heavens stirred. Stars shifted, and a blinding divine light poured across the skies. The heavens and earth resonated with celestial harmony, as auspicious clouds drifted to the sound of heavenly music. The spiritual energy of the world surged, as if celebrating the birth of something extraordinary. The sudden surge of spiritual energy triggered by the Langxian Library's awakening didn't go unnoticed. It stirred several immensely powerful cultivators across the realm. Their auras, overwhelming and majestic, flared in response. Even from great distances, they all turned their gaze toward Yang Nu's location. Not far from there, at the main peak of one of the 7 great sects, the Taming sect, a cultivation chamber nestled among the clouds began to stir. Within, a figure sat cross-legged in deep meditation. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open. Is that the aura of the Langxian Library's sacred artifact? He murmured. They say it holds every book under the heavens. This man was none other than Xia Gezi, the sect master of Taming sect. 1,000 years ago, he had mysteriously vanished. Rumor had it he had once obtained a portion of the Langxian Library's inheritance. Afterward, his strength had skyrocketed to a level that rivaled the heavens themselves. Now, sensing this familiar aura, Xiong Zhentian, a high-ranking elder, clenched his fist and muttered, if this power re-emerges, he might even unify the 7 great sects. With that, he waved his hand, releasing a messenger beast into the skies. Go. Find out what's happening. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Tianshan Muzhou, where the ruins of the ancient Langxian Library lay. Out of nowhere, amidst the rubble, a majestic structure began to materialize. It was the same Langxian Library where Yang Nu had just been appointed head librarian. As soon as Yang Nu opened the door, a figure shot out from within. In the next moment, the entire Langxian Library began to shrink, condensing rapidly until it flew straight into Yang Nu's forehead. He stumbled back, startled. Still following me? Just my luck. That whole massive library. In my head? I can summon it any time now? This is kind of insane. He stepped outside, marveling at the vastness of the world around him. Just then, a voice called out, "Who's there?" Yang Nu looked up and his jaw dropped. A man and woman were flying overhead on a soaring sword, hovering in the sky like characters straight out of a legend. They looked impossibly cool. The man, with golden hair and a mischievous smirk, pointed at Yang Nu. So it was here, he said. That divine artifact from the Langxian Library showed up here. Then, as he stared longer, his eyes glimmered. The more I look, the more I'm mesmerized. What a divine fairy this lady is. That snow-white skin. Those perfect long legs. He suddenly coughed dramatically. This humble one, Yang Nu, greets the immortal fairy, he he said sincerely. Then he added with a smirk, by the way, your underwear is showing. The couple both spun around in shock. Sure enough, the young woman's delicate, heart-patterned undergarments were peeking out. The golden-haired man's face twisted in rage. You brat! Did I give you permission to look? Only admins can look. In a flash, his body ignited with intense spiritual energy. With fury in his eyes, he launched a fiery attack directly at Yang Nua. Caught off guard, Yang Nua instinctively raised his hand to block. A thunderous explosion rang out across the sky. The blond man laughed proudly. The artifact will be, but before he could finish, his expression and his companions turned ghostly pale. Yang Nua stood there completely unharmed. Instead of being injured, a deadly, oppressive aura now radiated from his body. What the hell kind of physique is this? The man gasped. How can he be so terrifyingly strong? Both of them trembled. What cultivation realm is this, Sister Yali? Yang Nua stood tall and coolly responded, That's right. I'm the head librarian, with top-tier cultivation. He raised a single finger and said coldly, Compared to me, you're just weaklings. I was simply toying with you too. Did you really think I was powerless? The young woman, upon seeing Yang Nua's commanding presence, was immediately captivated. Her eyes sparkled with admiration. Meanwhile, the blond man beside her trembled with envy. You're full of it, he snapped. You used some external force just now. External force my ass, Yang Nua replied coolly. That was just one finger. If I used my entire hand, both of you would have been reduced to dust. The blond man's fists clenched in fury, veins bulging on his forehead. Yang Nua, unfazed, continued boasting, I need to cultivate divine abilities and master some immortal arts. I also need to start taking in disciples. So, how about it? Want to become my disciples? I'll even reward you with a jade token. Both of them froze in disbelief. Become his disciples, they stammered. The blond man noticed the young woman actually considering it. Jealousy consumed him. Junior sister belongs to me alone, he shouted, then unleashed his ultimate technique, Heart Meridian Sword. A gleaming sword shot from his mouth, hurtling toward Yang Nua like a comet. Too bad for you, Yang Nua said calmly, catching the blade with a single hand. With barely any effort, he snapped it once, twice, and then again. The blade shattered into pieces. The blond man spat out blood. My Heart Meridian Sword. You refused the toast, Yang Nua said coldly. Now you'll drink the forfeit. The blond man trembled, fear flooding his face. Why, you're courting death. Yang Nua's eyes narrowed. The blond man nearly wet himself. With a casual motion, Yang Nua threw a punch. It looked harmless. The people watching above held their breath, but nothing happened. The blond man scoffed, See? Nothing happened. You were bluffing all along. But he spoke too soon. The force of the delayed strike finally arrived. The air cracked open as a powerful shockwave blasted the two airborne figures, flinging them away like leaves caught in a storm. Yang Nua blinked. That was stronger than I expected. He dusted off his sleeves. Those who reject kindness must suffer the consequences. Just as he prepared to finish them off, a voice called out, Please wait, fellow Taoist. An elderly man descended from the sky. I am Tanlong. These two are my disciples. If they have offended you, I ask that you show mercy. They are still young and a little reckless. He clasped his hands in a respectful salute. As fellow cultivators in the Tongxian realm, I hope we can resolve this peacefully. Please, accept this small token as an apology. A spatial rift tore open, and a jade ring flew toward Yang Nua, gleaming with spiritual energy. Yang Nua felt mildly irritated. So he thinks tossing a ring makes everything alright? Doesn't even look like real gold. Still, he decided to let it slide. I'm not going to stoop to your level. But seriously, discipline your kids better. Why does an old man always show up when I'm about to teach someone a lesson? If only I had some divine abilities already. I wouldn't have to tolerate any of this. Unbeknownst to Yang Nua, his earlier display of power, injuring two cultivators with a single palm strike, and the Langxian Library's sudden return had already alarmed Samin's sect's Master Tanlong, and even drawn the interest of other top sects. Rumors were already swirling. Has the Langxian Library found a new successor? A storm was brewing. Later, Yang Nua trudged along a rugged trail, exhausted. He didn't even have a flying sword. Trying to fly with just my cultivation? What a waste, he muttered. He resigned himself to walking. In the distance, he saw a few houses. I should look for disciples there. He pondered as he walked. From now on, I'll ask one crucial question before taking anyone in. Do they already have a master? If they do, I won't bother. If their master turns out to be stronger than me, won't I just become a joke? Just then, a group of rough-looking men blocked his path. Stop right there, one of them barked. As they got a better look, they frowned. Look at that guy. His hair is cropped short, and he's wrapped cloth around his legs. What the hell is he wearing? Who cares? Another one growled. Robbing him is all that matters. Out of the way, you weirdly dressed freak. Who are you, kid? Yang Nua answered calmly, sorry, but you're wasting your time. I'm just passing through, and I don't have any money. Huh? That tone. It sounds familiar, one of them muttered. No money? Then we'll feed you to the tigers. Stop! A woman's firm voice rang out, instantly freezing the confrontation between Yang Nua and the bandits. A young, strikingly beautiful girl stepped forward, pointing directly at them. You scoundrels, stop right there. How dare you commit such evil in broad daylight, she shouted. Xia Xia, a valiant young warrior, stood her ground. As a knight of justice, I can't just stand by and watch this happen. Yang Nua studied the girl silently. She's so small. Yet fearless. Whose daughter is this? Facing a gang of bandits without a trace of fear, impressive. The bandits turned to her with mocking grins, eyes narrowing with greed. Well, look at her fine clothes, one sneered. She's gotta be loaded. Their leader swung his axe and licked his lips, face twisted with perverse delight. Bit small, but she's still a girl. Let's bring her back for the boys to enjoy. He gestured for his men to seize her. Yang Nua felt a surge of righteous fury. How dare they bully this girl? Watch this. He dashed forward, ready to fight. But the moment he moved, the sounds of pain, ouch! Ow! Rose from the bandits. Yang Nua froze, wide-eyed. Xia Xia, despite her petite frame, was a whirlwind of force. With ease, she shattered their formation, sending several men flying. Even the bandit leader hesitated, clearly shocked by her strength. Whoa! How is she this powerful? This world is seriously amazing, Yang Nua thought in awe, watching as she pummeled one thug after another. The leader, recovering from his shock, barked a new command. Forget her. Capture that boy first. We'll deal with the brat later. But Xia Xia's eyes lit up with fire. With me here you dare, she snapped. Take this. She leapt, landing a fierce combo of punches and kicks on the leader. He cried out in agony, stumbling back. With the enemies temporarily subdued, she turned to Yang Nua with a satisfied grin. Well? Aren't you going to thank me? She said, puffing out her chest. Honestly, it was nothing. Beating them was as easy as flipping my palm. Yang Nua's expression suddenly shifted. Look out! But it was too late. A small, sharp dagger flew through the air and struck Xia Xia square in the chest. She gasped, her body jerking from the impact. Blood welled up as she dropped to her knees, letting out a faint cry before collapsing. Hey see, the bandit who had thrown the knife, sneered triumphantly. Lucky I've trained in throwing daggers. That brat may have skill, but she's just a kid. No real battlefield experience. His gang erupted in cheers. Long live the boss. Hey see wasted no time. Grab the girl. Bring her back to Black Wind Camp. And as for that boy, he snarled, feed him to the tigers. Though injured, Xia Xia was still conscious. She reached weakly toward Yang Nua, her voice trembling. I can't save you. Run. The bandits' laughter echoed in the forest as her vision faded. Just before the darkness took her, she caught a glimpse, Yang Nua, the man she had just rescued, raising his hand. With a single sweeping motion, he scattered the bandits like leaves before a storm. I'm dying. I must be hallucinating, Xia Xia thought, her mind growing hazy. What a shame. I never got to become a true wandering hero. Suddenly, the sound of weapons clattering echoed around her. The bandits had dropped their axes and were now groveling on the ground, begging pitifully. Please, stop. We surrender, they cried. Heisi was no exception. He knelt and kowtowed repeatedly. Spare me, great hero. I was wrong. Yang Nua sneered. Spare you? If I'd been the one captured, would you have spared me? Would you have shown mercy? Ah, my chest! One bandit wailed, collapsing from the pain. Xia Xia's vision began to clear. Light returned to her eyes, and the man standing before her slowly came into focus. Huh. He's here too? I must be in hell, she thought groggily. What a fool, I wasted my time stalling for him, and now he's dead with me. But then her eyes shifted, she saw Heisi lurking behind Yang Nua, suddenly springing to attack. With a burst of energy, Xia Xia sat up and shouted, You tricked me! Even as a ghost I'll tear you apart! Yang Nua quickly held her by the shoulders and steadied her. What nonsense are you spouting now? He chuckled. Are you all right? Do you have a fever? Seems like the demonic curse has been lifted, he noted to himself. Then, with a sharp glance toward Heisi, Yang Nua simply gestured for him to leave. Heisi didn't hesitate, he bolted. Xia Xia, still puzzled, looked at Yang Nua. Why does he listen to you like that? Yang Nua shrugged lightly. I spared only him. The rest are gone. Xia Xia gently grasped his hand and examined him. Are you an immortal master? You control flying swords and summon items from afar with ease. Just then, she winced, remembering the wound in her chest. Don't worry, Yang Nua said quickly, we'll talk later. Healing comes first. Then, with a proud expression, he declared, This immortal master sees great potential in you. Your spiritual roots and meridians are extraordinary, you're a cultivation prodigy. If you become my disciple, I shall grant you a jade. Jade. Xia Xia blinked in confusion. No, I mean the Jade Maiden Heart Sutra, he corrected himself with a cough, trying to maintain his dignified appearance. Now then. Call me master. Xia Xia raised her brows suspiciously. But what can you even teach me? Yang Nua's smile twitched. Damn system, where's my prompt? I'm taking in a disciple like it's some kind of game, there should be a beginner's reward or something. As if on cue, the system chimed in his mind. A basic cultivation method with healing properties. Usable directly. If given to a disciple, must be cultivated from scratch. A scroll materialized in his inventory. Grinning proudly, Yang No retrieved it and handed it to Xia Xia with a flourish. Your master bestows upon you the primordial restoration technique, a healing art. If your aptitude proves true, I will grant you even more divine abilities and immortal techniques in the future. Xia Xia accepted it, her expression respectful yet cautious. I'm grateful you saved me, but my master must be strong, very strong, she said seriously. Let me study this technique first. If it's real, then I'll consider it. Yang Nua nodded in understanding. She hadn't truly accepted him yet, but that was fine. He opened the door, gave her a confident wink, and stepped out into the sunlight. Think it over, he called. Countless people would give anything to become my disciple. This chance. Don't let it slip away. Xia Xia paused, listening as Yang Nua's voice drifted in from outside. He stretched lazily under the morning sun, taking in a deep breath of the crisp air. He had no idea that, from high up in a nearby tree, a female knight silently observed his every move. She watched Yang Nua with calm, curious eyes, her expression thoughtful. Back in the house, Xia Xia had begun cultivating the primordial restoration technique that Yang Nua had handed to her. Although she still doubted he was truly a powerful expert, the technique's effects stunned her. The energy coursing through her veins was genuine and potent. Even Yang Nua himself had no idea just how rapidly she was progressing. Meanwhile, completely at ease, Yang Nua lounged on a tree branch when Heisi appeared nearby. Boss! Heisi called out. We've got a big tiger here. Want to take a look? A flicker of surprise passed through Yang Nua's face, followed quickly by interest. He sat up straight and replied, "Didn't you say you were raising something? Take me to it." Heisi nodded eagerly and led him toward a large cave nestled within the hills. "It came on its own about half a year ago," Heisi explained, gesturing toward the cave's mouth. "It was injured at the time, but it's been docile ever since." Yang Nua appeared at the entrance with a thoughtful look. "Lead the way," he said. The cave interior was cold and foreboding, its depths shrouded in shadow. A gust of chilling wind swept through the mouth of the cavern, sending shivers down Yang Nua's spine. A powerful, dangerous aura pulsed from within. He could feel it clearly. Unbeknownst to him, Heisi's expression had changed. No longer the timid lackey, his face twisted into a cruel sneer. In an instant, he shoved Yang Nua forward with a shout. "Down you go!" A loud cry echoed through the cave. Something was tumbling into the darkness. But it wasn't Yang Nua. Standing safely at the edge, he looked down at the rolling figure below with a smirk. "Did you really think I wouldn't be cautious around someone like you?" Heisi scrambled to his feet, glaring up at Yang Nua with a twisted grin. "Cautious or not, now you're here. You're not getting out. Let's see how long your confidence lasts. I'll show you what real despair feels like." But before he could finish speaking, an enormous shadow loomed behind him. A massive white tiger emerged from the darkness, its pale green eyes locked onto Heisi. Yang Nua crossed his arms, calmly watching. The tiger let out a thunderous roar that shook the very ground. Even Heisi flinched. "Diha, Guardian! Kill him for me!" Heisi commanded, waving toward Yang Nua. Another roar answered him, this one even louder. Before Heisi could react, the tiger lunged. A scream of terror tore through the cave as the beast's powerful tail pierced straight through Heisi's chest. Blood sprayed in all directions. He gasped once, then fell to the ground, lifeless. His journey to the underworld began without ever understanding what had gone wrong. The tiger turned its gaze toward Yang Nua, its green eyes glowing with intelligence. "You are my master?" A deep voice echoed in his mind. Yang Nua raised an eyebrow. "You're talking to me?" "Yes, master," the tiger replied. "I can sense your strength. If you save me, I will serve you with all my heart." Yang Nua stepped forward and gently placed a hand on the tiger's nose. A faint, warm light shimmered at his touch. "I don't have any medicinal pills," he said, "but I do have a healing technique. It might just work." The tiger let out a relieved growl, as though freed from invisible chains. Yang Nua smirked. A good tiger is easy to train. Suddenly, a loud commotion erupted from the direction of the camp. "TCA, what now?" he muttered, his smile fading. "That noise. Something's happening outside." A group of soldiers clad in gleaming golden armor stormed into the camp, their voices ringing out with murderous intent. "Kill! Kill them all!" bellowed the bald leader at the front. "Those bandits dare to defy me! Kill that knight, Shaoling!" This was the same Shaoling who had previously been tracking Yang Nua alongside the officials. She quickly turned to the leader and pointed. "She's inside." "Attack!" barked Jun Tian, the leader. But before the soldiers could advance, Yang Nua materialized before them, blocking their path. His voice was icy and calm. "Who are you people?" One of the soldiers charged forward, blade raised. "Your life is mine." With a casual flick of his wrist, Yang Nua sent the attacker flying. His eyes never left Jun Tian, remaining cold and unwavering. Shaoling quickly stepped between them, drawing her sword with sharp precision. "Go save Xia Xia," she shouted to Jun Tian behind her. "I'll hold him off." Yang Nua raised an eyebrow. "Save someone? Is there some kind of misunderstanding?" Before anyone could respond, a brilliant light burst from one of the small huts. The roof exploded outward, and radiant energy swept through the camp, knocking back the advancing soldiers. From the light, Xia Xia emerged, seemingly fully healed. She landed gracefully in front of the hut, a confident aura radiating from her. Shaoling gasped in relief. "Xia Xia, are you all right?" Xia Xia rolled her eyes. "Do I look like something's wrong?" she shot back with a smirk. Then her expression turned serious. She stepped forward, turned toward Yang Nua, and suddenly dropped to her knees, bowing deeply. Disciple Xia Xia formally requests Master Yang Nua to accept her, she declared loudly. Heaven and earth bear witness, Xia Xia vows to follow Master from this day forth without regret. Yang Nua couldn't help grinning, his face brimming with smug satisfaction. Rise, disciple, he said with theatrical flair. Shaoling and Jun Tian were left speechless. She took him as her master. Jun Tian stammered. Have the bandits brainwashed you? Or are they forcing you? Suddenly, the system's voice rang in Yang Nua's mind, accompanied by another radiant burst of light. Congratulations, Dean. You have received a suitable disciple. First mission complete. Reward. First half of the demonic dragon bone-forging fist manual. Delighted, Yang Nua accepted the reward without hesitation. Another light shimmered across his body, his simple clothes replaced by flowing ancient robes, giving him the true appearance of a mysterious master. Disciple officially accepted. Additional reward, Dean's ceremonial attire. Yang Nua admired his new look, smirking. So, being a dean comes with a wardrobe upgrade too. He turned back to Xia Xia, who now gazed at him with sparkling admiration in her eyes. Laughing heartily, he bellowed, Now tell your master who dared to force you into a marriage. Your master will personally settle this matter. Jun Tian's grip on his saber tightened, fury building on his face. Shaoling quickly stepped forward to explain everything to Yang Nua. It all became clear. Xia Xia was no ordinary girl. She was the prized daughter of the Sha family, naturally gifted with cultivation talent. But 6 months earlier, her father, Sha Wang, had vanished near Howling Lake, presumed dead. In the aftermath, her family tried to marry her off to a frivolous young noble to protect their name. Her meridians had been damaged in an ambush, preventing her from awakening her bloodline, making her seem like a failure. But Xia Xia refused to be a pawn. Rather than accept a fate she didn't choose, she had fled into the night. Her fateful encounter with Yang Nua during the robbery had changed everything. Yang Nua looked down at the small girl who now called him master. A question lingered in his gaze. This is fate. But with no one to rely on, why wouldn't you accept the marriage? Xia Zhao's voice rang out firm and unwavering. I have to find my father. I don't believe in fate, I will change it. Yang Nua placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Well said. One's destiny should be carved by their own hands. Shaoling was visibly moved by the concern her young master showed. But Jun Tian exploded in fury. How dare you touch young Master Xian's fiancée, he roared. You've brainwashed Xia Xia. If you know what's good for you, get out of here. At your age, taking in disciples? You're just a scam artist. From behind them came the sharp voices of officials, shouting for the commotion to stop. But Shaoling struck first. Her leg lashed out with a powerful kick, sending Jun Tian hurtling backward several feet. She rushed to Xia Xia, her voice low and urgent. Have you lost your mind? He's from the Jun family. If you offend him, the Sha family will, but Xia Xia cut her off with a glare. Enough. I'll say this one more time, Yang Nua is my master now. Anyone who dares disrespect him will answer to me. Shaoling still tried to reason with her. You're choosing a master over your entire family? If you want to cancel the engagement, you need to come home first. Let's speak with the clan leader. Xia Xia turned to Yang Nua with hopeful eyes. Master, what do you think? Yang Nua glanced at Shaoling and Jun Tian, coldly thinking, trying to coerce my disciple? But on the outside, he simply smiled and gently patted Xia Xia's head. Of course we'll return, he said solemnly. Breaking an engagement is no trivial matter. Since your father isn't around, I'll accompany you as your master. Xia Xia beamed. All right. Yang Nua and Xia Xia soon arrived in Obsidian City, located in Anhui province. The Sha family was one of the 5 great cultivation clans in the region. Xia Xia's father, Sha Wuning, the second brother of the family, had gone missing 6 months ago, and with his absence, the clan's power had waned. The eldest brother, Sha Wu, had temporarily assumed the position of clan leader, with the third brother, Sha Wuo, acting as his assistant. As their carriage rattled down the main road, the air was filled with Xia Xia's cheerful voice. Master, from now on, all your disciples will call me senior sister. The carriage came to a halt in front of an imposing estate. Xia Xia excitedly pulled back the curtain and cried out, "We're home!" In front of them stood a grand, majestic estate, towering gates, tall pavilions, crimson eaves, and golden roof tiles gleaming in the sunlight. Xia Xia turned to Yang Nua, a nervous excitement bubbling inside her. "Master, I'm kind of nervous." Yang Nua gave her a calm smile. "Don't worry. I'm right here." Shaoling escorted them through the towering gate. The interior was no less impressive: manicured gardens, intricate pavilions, and solemn guards standing at every post. "Come on, master," Xia Xia said with bright eyes, pulling at his sleeve. "Let's meet the clan leader, my eldest uncle." As they entered the main hall, the massive doors swung open to reveal a stern man seated at the center of the chamber. Xia Xia blinked in surprise. "Third uncle? Where's eldest uncle?" Seated on the main dais was Sha Wuo, the third uncle. He looked at her and calmly called her name. Xia Xia stepped forward and introduced them. "Third uncle, this is my master, Yang Nua." Yang Nua respectfully stepped forward and greeted the man seated in the hall. Without a word, Sha Wuo unleashed a powerful surge of spiritual energy, aiming it straight at Yang Nua in a sneak attack. But Yang Nua was ready. He raised a hand and instantly formed a shimmering barrier. The blast of energy hit it with a crackling noise but dissipated harmlessly. "Master!" Xia Xia cried in alarm. "My third uncle, he's a nascent soul cultivator." Yang Nua's expression remained utterly calm. Opposite him, Sha Wuo's sword floated in midair, frozen by Yang Nua's immobilizing spell, unable to move a single inch. Sha Wunding froze in panic. How can my sword chi be stopped?" Yang Nua calmly shattered the suspended blade with a flick of his fingers. His voice was even and composed. Impressive technique for a nascent soul cultivator. Ever since receiving the primordial return decree and the half-volume of the demonic dragon bone refining fist, Yang Nua hadn't yet had a chance to unleash the full extent of his cultivated power. It seemed he had finally encountered someone barely worthy of witnessing a glimpse of it. Watching his sword chi crumble to dust, Sha Wunding was overwhelmed by fear. Meanwhile, Xia Xia stood by, her eyes glowing with admiration. "Master is amazing!" she exclaimed, pride filling her voice. Her third uncle quickly composed himself. He clasped his hands and bowed in apology. "I was only testing your abilities, Taoist friend. Please don't take it personally." Yang Nua's gaze didn't soften as he replied, "Since you are Xia Xia's third uncle, I'll overlook this. But I've come to break off her engagement." Before he could say more, Xia Xia boldly stepped forward, her voice ringing with authority. "I've awakened my family's bloodline." Sha Wunding's eyes flew open in disbelief. "You've awakened it? When your father managed just 30%, he was already considered unrivaled in the clan. If you've even awakened 20%, you'd be equal to your great-uncle." But Xia Xia nodded confidently. "I've awakened it fully." Sha Wunding reeled back, stunned. "Fully? Are you sure you're not being deceived? Why return now with this claim? Could there be some scheme behind this?" "It's real," Xia Xia insisted. 100%, just like our founding ancestor," she continued, her eyes gleaming with determination. "The clan records state that one who awakens the full bloodline can draw upon the ancestral altar and inherit the power of our ancestors. That's what I intend to do." Sha Wunding's composure faltered. He took a step back, his voice suddenly flustered. "Great-uncle is in seclusion. I'll be taking my leave." Without waiting for a response, he turned and left in haste. Xia Xia turned to her master. "Please stay and rest for a while, master." Yang Nua silently observed Sha Wunding's retreating figure, then turned to his disciple. "Tell me, how do your great-uncle and third uncle usually treat you?" Xia Xia replied quietly. "Third uncle has always been cold and distant. But the clan leader, my great-uncle, he was kind to me after my father disappeared." Yang Nua narrowed his eyes slightly, deep in thought. The White Tiger said this Sha family isn't as simple as it appears. Looks like tonight won't be peaceful. As night fell, Yang Nuo remained alert, already expecting trouble. Sure enough, a streak of starlight suddenly pierced through the roof, heading straight for his bed like a meteor. He didn't move. Still lying down, he looked directly at the incoming assassin and sighed. Tell me, do members of the Shah family always prefer midnight ambushes? A massive hole opened in the ceiling, revealing a masked assailant in dark metallic armor. The assassin's voice was smug, oozing arrogance. I've already laid down the heavenly net formation. You have no escape, fool. You dare question the Shah family? You must be seeking death. Yang Nuo stared calmly. So you're the great-uncle, aren't you? The masked figure lunged forward with his sword, shouting, You dare stir the waters of our clan? Go ask Yama for forgiveness. With a flash, he released a technique, demonic steel sword strike, and a burning skeletal spirit surged forth, cloaked in crimson flames. Yang Nuo didn't even blink. He raised a single finger and blocked the blow effortlessly. Impressive size, he remarked dryly. But for your level, this is all you deserve. A shock wave burst forth as the attack rebounded, striking the assassin in the chest. His mask shattered with a sharp crack. A piercing scream of agony ripped through the night as the assailant was sent flying backwards. The assassin, desperate to flee, began casting a barrier spell. Yang Nuo surged forward, a sly smile tugging at his lips as he launched another attack. Running away now? Villains like you should at least leave behind some parting words. But as his swift strike hit the shimmering barrier, it came to a sudden stop, halted in midair. Yang Nuo narrowed his eyes and struck again, hammering against it. This thing is quite sturdy, isn't it? He took a step back, clenched his fist, and smirked. Then try a taste of a Found Realm punch. With a surge of chi, he unleashed a devastating blow. A thunderous boom echoed across the night. The barrier shattered into fragments, but the assassin had already vanished. A sharp gust of wind swept through the broken rooftop. Just then, Xia came rushing in, worry etched on her face. Master, are you all right? Yang Nuo dusted off his sleeves casually. Just a stray dog that got loose. You're hurt, aren't you? She asked, scanning him for injuries. He grinned. Your master is more formidable than he looks. Don't worry. But in his mind, a cold thought lingered. All this ruckus, and not a single person from the Shah family showed up. Very telling. Just then, Sha Wuyin appeared and invited Yang Nuo to meet the clan leader. The clan head has emerged from seclusion, he said. As they prepared to leave, Xia noticed something odd. Third uncle, she said, eyeing his hand, how did you get injured? Sha Wuyin flinched. His eyes darted away from hers. It's nothing, he mumbled quickly. Let's go. Your great-uncle is waiting. He's acting strange today, Xia thought, frowning as she followed him. Yang Nuo remained sharp and observant, his eyes locked on the subtle gestures and tension in the air. Sha Wuyin led them through the manor's corridors to the main hall. Waiting inside was an elderly man, robed in authority and exuding power. This was Sha Wenwu, the clan leader and Xia's great-uncle. Yang Nuo raised an eyebrow. So the old man reveals himself this quickly. Looks like he's preparing to make a move. As they entered the grand hall, Xia brightened. Great-uncle, I'm back. Sha Wenwu gave a warm smile, his eyes scanning her carefully. Excellent. Your cultivation seems to have recovered well. He turned his gaze toward the young man beside her. And this is... Xia beamed with pride. This is my master, Yang Nuo. Master, this is my great-uncle and clan leader. Yang Nuo offered a respectful nod. A pleasure. Sha Wenwu returned the gesture politely. So you're Xia's master. Welcome to our clan. But... I understand you've come to break off the engagement. Yang Nuo confirmed, that's correct. At once, Sha Wenwu's expression hardened. A dangerous glint sparked in his eyes. Do you understand what breaking this engagement will cost? He said coldly. Without the Junlon family's support, the Sha clan could fall from the ranks of the elite. His gaze narrowed. Moreover, I'm not yet convinced I can trust Xia's future to someone like you. Yang Nuo replied without hesitation, I have no interest in the politics of desperate old men. You speak only of survival. I speak of freedom. My disciple's happiness matters more to me than your alliances. Displeasure flared in Sha Wenwu's eyes, but he said nothing more. With a wave of his hand, he gave his verdict. 7 days from now, we will test Xia Xia's bloodline at the ancestral altar. If that so-called trash awakens 3 levels or more, I will agree to break the engagement. But the consequences from the Jun family will be yours to bear. Yang Nua accepted the terms with a nod. He and Xia Xia left the hall. Outside, the young girl's cheerful energy had faded. She looked troubled. Yang Nua glanced down at her. What's bothering you? Master, she said quietly, I was too naive. I didn't realize how complicated things would be. She hesitated, then added, also, you were attacked last night, weren't you? Yang Nua said nothing, but his eyes narrowed slightly. Xia Xia pressed on. This morning, I noticed third uncle's wrist was injured, and he kept avoiding my gaze. Master. Was it him? Yang Nua gently patted her head, offering a reassuring smile. Silly girl, don't overthink things. Matters like these are trivial to your master. Just then, a Sha family servant approached and bowed respectfully. Young Miss, Master Yang, the clan leader requests your presence. Inside the hall, Sha Wenwu sat tall upon his chair, his expression unreadable. He beckoned to Xia Xia. Come here, quickly. I've heard Jun Tong has returned. Both your Uncle Jun and young Master Jun Shua are here to see you. Xia Xia walked forward and offered a polite bow. Uncle Jun, young Master Jun. Jun Tong's face lit up with satisfaction at the sight of her. Excellent, excellent, he exclaimed before turning to Yang Nua, his smile turning icy. So, this is the man claiming to be Xia Xia's master? And the one here to break off her engagement? Yang Nua met his gaze calmly, the corner of his mouth curling into a faint smile. Yes, I've come to dissolve the engagement on behalf of my disciple. Do you have a problem with that? Jun Tong's eyes narrowed in displeasure at Yang Nua's confidence. Jun Shua, standing silently behind him, was visibly taken aback by Yang Nua's fearless attitude. This arrogant brat! Jun Tong fumed inwardly. Without a word, he flicked his wrist, sending a teacup flying through the air straight toward Yang Nua. Jun Tong's uncle nodded approvingly and declared with a mocking grin, a toast from the Jun family. Accept it with respect. The cup spun like a dart through the air. Yang Nua caught it effortlessly between 2 fingers. Thank you. Jun Tong smirked, expecting to rattle him. But Yang Nua calmly raised the cup, drained it in one smooth gulp, then tossed it back toward them. Here, you can have it back. The porcelain cup rocketed toward Jun Tong with startling speed, slamming into his chest. With a yelp, he flew backward, crashing into the wall behind him along with his chair. The hall fell into stunned silence. Even the clan leader's expression changed. Sha Wenwu stared at Yang Nua, a flicker of fear flashing across his eyes. That power. Terrifying. This man is not to be underestimated. Still unwilling to back down, Jun Tong stood and growled, Fine. About the bloodline test, we'll settle this in 7 days. His voice was firm, but his pride had clearly taken a blow. If Xia Xia can awaken at least 3 levels of her bloodline, then we will agree to dissolve the engagement. Yang Nua gave a simple nod. Then it's settled. Outside the hall, Yang Nua turned to his disciple. Xia Xia, what will you do? If your father truly is dead. Xia Xia's expression darkened, but her voice was steady. I'll avenge him. Yang Nua's gaze softened, but his tone was serious. What if the killer is someone you know? Xia Xia's small hands clenched into fists. Even then, whoever killed my father, I will kill them with my own hands. Though young, her voice held a fierce and chilling determination. But as she looked away, a flicker of fear passed through her eyes. I just worry that they'll accuse me of protecting the murderer. Her voice trembled slightly. No, I must find them, and when I do, I'll destroy them. Xia Xia tilted her head slightly, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Master, she asked softly, why did you ask me that? Yang Nua gently ran his hand through her hair and smiled. Xia Xia, do you trust your master? Of course, master, she answered without hesitation. You're the person I trust most in the world. Yang Nua cupped her face in his hands, his expression gentle and serious. I need you to stay here and wait for me. I have to leave for a while. Xia Xia's small hand instinctively reached out and grasped his. Her gaze turned anxious, her voice trembling. Where are you going, master? Do you not need me anymore? Am I useless? Tears welled up in her eyes as she turned her head away, her voice heavy with self-blame. I can't help you with anything. And now, I've dragged you into trouble with the Jun family. Yang Nua lightly stroked her hair and gave her a comforting smile. Silly girl. How could I ever abandon you? You've finally learned to trust me completely. How could I leave now? Xia Xia's lips trembled. Master, you must come back. I'll be waiting for you. She watched him as he walked away, her gaze filled with longing. Days passed since Yang Nua's departure. Xia Xia remained within the estate, diligently practicing her cultivation. Then, on the 7th day, the Sha family estate burst into life. Drums pounded and horns blared across the sky. The day of the bloodline test had finally arrived. The ancestral altar had been prepared, and the 5 great families had gathered, filling the estate with a festive yet tense atmosphere. Sha Weeman, the 3rd uncle and 1st elder, stood at the entrance, respectfully welcoming the arriving guests. The moment of truth had come. At the heart of the altar, Xia Xia sat silently, eyes closed in meditation. Despite the noise and chatter, her heart yearned only for one thing, her master's return. She recalled their final conversation before he left. Master, she had said back then, your disciple is incompetent. I only understand simple things. I act impulsively without thinking. Yang Nua had smiled and gently reassured her. Don't worry, silly girl. I'm here now. Who would dare to bully you? Now, those words echoed in her heart like a promise. The heads of the 5 great families looked on intently. Among them, the members of the Jun family watched with smug, sinister expressions. Sha Wenwu raised his hands solemnly. Let the ritual begin. The ancestral sacrifice commenced. Blood was offered to the heavens. A ceremonial blade sliced through the air, severing the head of the sacrificial ox. The sky darkened at once, streaked with eerie crimson light. Sha Wenwu chanted incantations under his breath. But suddenly he faltered. His face turned pale. Something's wrong, he muttered, glancing at his wrist. The wound, inflicted 7 days ago, still hadn't healed. It should have closed long ago. His brows furrowed in concern. That brat is gone. Good. 2 nobodies thought they could challenge me? Let's see how Xia Xia fares without her master. A twisted smirk crept onto Sha Wenwu's face as he stared at his niece. Look, the clan leader has arrived, someone shouted. All eyes turned as Sha Anwu entered the ceremonial ground. Unlike the arrogant and greedy Sha Weeman, Sha Anwu had always treated Xia Xia with kindness, especially after the disappearance of her father. In her heart, Xia Xia regarded him like a second father. Sha Anwu walked over, placing a warm hand on her head. Where is your master? He asked gently. A flicker of sadness crossed Xia Xia's face. He's gone. But I believe he'll return. I know he'll be here for the bloodline test. Sha Anwu smiled and patted her head again. Yet behind his warmth, a strange darkness stirred in his eyes. Good, he said, turning to face the crowd. His voice rang out across the gathering. Today, we shall witness the power of the bloodline inherited by my second brother's daughter. Sha Wenwu brought out the summoning jade and called for the domain to open. A brilliant light burst from the sky, illuminating the altar as it gathered energy around Xia Xia. The young masters in the crowd looked on in awe. It's beginning. It's starting, they murmured excitedly. Xia Xia sat calmly at the center of the altar, slowly absorbing the cascading light. Minutes passed. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the light vanished, and the swirling clouds dissipated. Sha Weeman turned to Xia Xia and spoke gently. Child, don't be sad. A wave of murmurs rippled through the gathered crowd. Confusion spread. What happened? Junong, waving his fan smugly, sneered. Ha, I told you! You wouldn't awaken your bloodline power. This time, you'll definitely marry me, Just accept your fate. Xia Xia remained on the altar for a moment before rising to her feet, defiant. I will not marry you, she declared. But her legs trembled beneath her. She realized, to her shock, that her bloodline power hadn't awakened. It felt as though something was blocking the blood mist, something invisible, something sinister. Stunned, the girl turned toward Sha Weiman. Third uncle. Someone is trying to harm me, she said weakly. But her voice faltered. Her strength suddenly gave way, as if something was draining her. She could barely stand. Sha Wenwu stepped behind her with a soft, almost soothing voice. Don't cry, child. Your third uncle will take care of everything. But Xia Xia could no longer trust him. His words felt like poison. Her eyes welled with tears, frustration, helplessness, fear. Then, suddenly, a burst of powerful spiritual energy cut through the tension like lightning. A resounding voice echoed across the altar. Stop! Xia Xia's eyes widened in disbelief. That voice, she knew it. That energy, it was him. Her master had returned. Yang Nua descended in a flash, appearing before her like a divine figure. His tone softened as he stepped forward and held her gently. There, Xia Xia. Don't be afraid. Master is here. He turned his gaze sharply toward Sha Wenwu, eyes blazing with fury. You despicable man. You not only murdered the previous clan leader, now you dare to harm Xia Xia as well? His blunt accusation struck the supposedly noble Sha Wenwu like a blade. The crowd fell into stunned silence. Gasps spread across the 5 great family members. Did he just say murder? Is he accusing the clan leader? The elders were shocked by the audacity of Yang Nua. How could he say something so outrageous in the middle of the sacred bloodline ceremony? Sha Wenwu clenched his fists, his face twisting with rage. What nonsense are you spouting? You dare to disrupt our sacred clan ritual with these wild accusations? But he took a deep breath, forcing a calm tone. Since you are Xia Xia's master, I will overlook your offense this once. Now, step back. No one in the crowd dared believe Yang Nua's words. To them, Sha Wenwu was an honorable man, a pillar of virtue. Surely he couldn't have done such a thing. They assumed Yang Nua was making trouble, maybe even plotting something. Sha Wenwu sneered smugly. See? No one believes you, he taunted. Why don't you just give up and leave? Even your own people are telling you to go. But what he hadn't expected was that Yang Nua had already uncovered the truth. Driven to expose the real culprit behind everything, Yang Nua had sought out the fox demon, and through that encounter, he had finally unraveled the conspiracy. He stepped protectively in front of Xia Xia, holding her close, his presence shielding her like a fortress. With unwavering determination, he looked straight at Sha Wenwu and spoke clearly, his voice echoing across the altar and into the hearts of everyone present. I suspected you from the moment I entered your so-called respected estate. Every word you've spoken, every action you've taken, only confirmed it. He pointed at Sha Wenwu, his tone fierce and accusing. You were the one who attacked me that night, and now I will reveal everything to the world. The next day when we met face to face, Yang Nua said calmly, I deliberately provoked you, and yet you showed no anger. That only proves one thing, you already knew of my strength, and you didn't dare to strike. Sha Wenwu's face twisted into a cold mask of fury. The facade was gone. He no longer cared to hide his true self. A smirk curled on his lips as he stepped forward and challenged Yang Nua. So what if you expose me? Do you think anyone will believe you? I'm Xia Xia's uncle. Would you dare kill me? She would never forgive you. As he spoke, he began channeling his power, blinding light erupting from his body, ready to strike. He was desperate to save face in front of the 5 great families. You got close to Xia Xia just to steal her bloodline power. Despicable! He shouted, fanning the flames of doubt among the crowd. The murmurs turned into roars of anger. The masses, stirred by his accusations, surged forward with murderous intent. They surrounded Yang Nua from all sides. Alone, he stood in the eye of the storm. How ironic, he thought. These people claimed to be protecting Xia Xia, when it was he who had protected her from them all along. Sha Wenwu pressed his assault, pushing the narrative, shouting, "See, Yang Nua? You have no proof. No one will believe your lies. I warned you to leave. You didn't listen. Now it's too late." But instead of the panic or rage Sha Wenwu expected, Yang Nua met him with a composed, confident gaze. "Who says I have no proof?" he replied coolly. The words struck like thunder. Even as the full might of the Sha clan and the 5 great families bore down on him, Yang Nua stood tall, unshaken. Sha Wenwu growled, "Then show it. Show us your so-called proof." Yang Nua smiled faintly. "Do you know what I've been doing these past few days?" He paused, letting the silence stretch and build. "I found the evidence that proves you murdered clan leader Sha Wenshun." A collective gasp spread through the crowd. The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. Yang Nua had played the long game. Now, it was time to lay all his cards on the table. He raised his hand and began to summon his spirit beast. The ground trembled. A deafening roar echoed through the skies. The expressions of those gathered turned from scorn to fear. Even Sha Wenwu's confidence cracked. From the distance, a massive figure emerged, shaking the earth with every step. A colossal tiger descended from the mist, landing powerfully behind its master. Terrified cries erupted from the crowd. What is that monster?" As the fog cleared, faces paled and mouths fell open. Recognition flickered, then horror. Yang Nua had summoned the tiger demon of Whispering Lake. The mighty beast, a legend in its own right, stood tall behind Yang Nua, its eyes filled with fury. Even the prestigious Wang clan, who had come as dignified spectators, were stunned. No one had expected this, least of all Sha Wenwu. The tiger demon had come seeking vengeance. Panic erupted. Some urged each other to flee, others prepared to fight. The atmosphere trembled with fear and confusion. Yet amidst the chaos, Yang Nua remained calm. His voice cut through the noise like a blade. "Do not be afraid. The tiger demon will not attack unless provoked. My target is Sha Wenwu, not the 5 great families." He turned his piercing gaze on the so-called clan leader. "Sha Wenwu," he said with finality, "will you confess your crimes? Or must I expose every last one of them?" But the cornered clan leader, face burning with rage, refused to yield. He spat venomously, "Lies! Kill him! Kill Yang Nua and the demon!" Just as the chaos threatened to boil over, Jun Yong, having gathered his clan members, raised his hand to halt them. A flicker of doubt passed through his eyes. Something didn't feel right. He turned to Yang Nua, his voice calm but firm. "Young man," he said, "you claim that clan leader Sha was wronged. If you truly know the truth, then speak. The former clan leader, Sha Wang, was like a brother to me. If anyone truly harmed him, I swear I will avenge him."